You guys want to see how communist? Want to see a horrible one? Look at this shit. It's a stupid commie rainbow fish. A long way out in the deep blue sea there lived a fish. Not just an ordinary fish, but the most beautiful fish in the entire ocean. The scales were every shade of blue and green and purple, with sparkling silver all over them. You see that? Yeah. Yeah, because he was special. The other fish were amazed at his beauty. They called him rainbow fish. Come on, rainbow fish, they would call. Come on and play with us. But the rainbow fish would just glide past, proud and silent, letting his scales shimmer. That's called an assumption of motive. What if he just didn't want to hang? What does it mean that like they're acting like he was being a dick because he just swam? That's these hater fish. These are hater fish, just being like, oh, and then he would just slide past. Yeah, maybe he didn't want to hang out with you guys because you're dickheads. One day, a little blue fish followed after him. Rainbow fish, he called, wait for me. Please give me one of your shiny scales. They're so wonderful and you have so many. You want me to give you one of my special scales? Who do you think you are? Cried the rainbow fish. By the way, good point. Get away from me. Shocked, the little blue fish swam away. He was so upset, he told all his friends what happened. All his dickhead hipster friends. From then on, no one would have anything to do with the rainbow fish. They turned away as he swam by. Because he had something they didn't and he wouldn't give it to them for free. What good were the dazzling, shimmering scales with no one to admire them? Now he was the loneliest fish in the entire ocean. One day he poured out his troubles to the starfish. I really am beautiful. Why doesn't anyone like me? You can substitute that with talent or anything. It's like, how come no one likes me? I'm really fast. It's because they're slow. I can't answer that for you, said the starfish. But if you go beyond... But I would understand if he was a dick to the little fish, where he was like, oh, you guys don't have what I have. You guys can go to hell. But he just didn't say anything, and that was perceived as mean because he's awesome, and he has awesome scales. But if you go beyond the coral reef to a deep cave, you'll find the wise octopus. Maybe she can help you. The rainbow fish found the cove. It was very dark inside, and he couldn't see anything. Then suddenly, two eyes caught him in their glare, and the octopus emerged from the darkness. I've been waiting for you, said the octopus with a deep voice. The waves have told me your story. Yeah, no, this is my advice. Give a glittering scale to each of the other kids. You will no longer be the most beautiful fish in the sea, but you will discover how to be happy. No, that's not at all what is happening here. I can't believe people read this to children. I can't, said the rainbow fish, as he started to say, but the octopus had already disappeared into a dark cloud of ink. Give away my scales, my beautiful shining scales? Never. How could I ever be happy without them? See, that's how they manipulate you. Because you shouldn't be defined by your shiny scales. Because materialism also doesn't lead to happiness. But other fish have no right to demand them from you just because you have them and they don't. Because the other fish want the scales. It'd be one thing if he just threw them into the abyss of the ocean because he didn't want to have to clean them every morning. You know, I have a friend that just sold his boat because he said it was taking up too much of his time. That's a whole different story than having to give everyone who doesn't have a boat a boat. Suddenly he felt the light touch of a fin. The little rainbow fish was back. The little blue fish. Rainbow fish, please don't be angry. I just want one little scale. It all starts with one scale. And then they realize the scale doesn't make them happy because maybe they have horrific character flaws. And that now they want two scales. And the more scales the little fish gets, the more he actually gets angry at the fact that he now knows the lack of scales wasn't why he was sad in the first place. It's because he's a piece of shit. And so he either has to deal with that or he has to find something else to blame. And that's kind of what we see in society now, these days. All right. The rainbow fish wavered. Only one very, very small shimmery scale, he thought. Well, maybe one. I wouldn't miss just one. Carefully, the rainbow fish pulled out the smallest scale and gave it to the little fish. Thank you very much. In reality, the little fish would say, I want more now, though. The little blue fish bubbled playfully as he tucked the shiny scale in among his blue ones. A rather peculiar feeling came over the rainbow fish. For a long time, he watched the little blue fish swim back and forth with his new scale glittering in the water. By the way, it does feel good to give people things, but like things that can help them or things that could help their family, not a tool of vanity, which is what the shimmering scale is. It'd be one thing if this fish was like, yeah, I really need food for my family. It's been a really rough winter. That's a totally different thing, and that would feel good for the rainbow fish. But instead, it was, I want one of your shiny scales. The little blue fish whizzed through the ocean with his scale floating, so it didn't take long before the rainbow fish was surrounded by the other fish. Everyone wanted a glittering scale now. Yeah, you think? No shit. The rainbow fish shared his scales left and right, and the more he gave away, the more delighted he became when the water around him filled with glimmering scales. At least he felt at home amongst the other fish. Yeah, this is a book of communism. He now feels more at home with the other fish because they now have scale wealth equality. No one has a problem with that. Finally, the rainbow fish had only one shining scale left. His most prized possession had been given away, yet he was very happy. Come on, rainbow fish, they called. Come play with us. Here I come, said the rainbow fish. And happy as a splash, he swam off to join his friends. And they think that that's the end. At that point, the fish will now compete over who can get more scales again because they all start from scratch because the female fish are attracted to the scales. So at this point, they're all going to start killing each other to get more scales so that they can procreate. I thought a funny ending to this stupid fucking book, Rainbow Fish, would be gives away all his scales, and then that's how the shark can see all the fish, and the shark eats everyone but him. That the scales actually became a way to die, and that they tricked him, but in the end, it destroyed themselves.